Hello and welcome everybody to the Jodo Cast, your Star Wars gaming podcast. My name is Evan. I am of course here with Leo and Joe and Kurt
Hello.
and
That you've heard.
the, and in spite of all that, we are of course always thrilled to have with us our amazing patrons. We would not be here without them and their support. So thank you to all patrons joining us tonight and every night. We thoroughly appreciate it. And we are going to be jumping straight into a discussion straight to your YouTube feed on the Atomic Mass Games studio update from this past Sunday at Adepticon, which Joe and I. You know what? I will address that here shortly. Joe and I were fortunate enough to be there at Adepticon the whole week, and then we got to top it off with the AMG Studio update. And yes, Leo, it 100% was shades of Fantasy Flight in-flight report. It had the energy, it had the spectacle. I would say spectacle because there were reveals galore, and there was cheering, and there was happiness, and there was not a bum sound in the entire ballroom. It was excitement.
Even
So
the
many announcements.
even
So
the
many.
Armada people made happy noises.
Oh, Armada's not Armada's not dead.
It's still on life
Man,
support.
we will. We absolutely will. Uh really quick, we might have some new folks joining us tonight. We made a lot of friends over the weekend. We did. Uh we met people, we joined with. Oh, I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, Evan has friends after all these years." I mean, Joe has friends wherever he goes.
Mm,
No, not so much. I mean,
So
I'm the one
legions
that
of
hates humanity.
people were coming up to Joe left and right at the con
Mm.
saying, "Oh, Joe, I recognize you, I know you," but Evan was getting no attention.
That was just
um,
Saturday. That was all day Saturday.
if we're gonna be accurate, there's one person I had met before who's like, okay, well, I know who you are, and then there's another guy who's like, well, I've watched all of your Imperial Assault videos. That's pretty cool. And then there was another guy who said, you guys made 2 minute unit?" And so that was about it, like maybe three people.
That's cool though.
Which is, yeah,
Yeah.
we're taking off.
And then there was, I keep hearing your voice and I think, who has YouTube on?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
You're just
cool.
it's kind of like what was it? Chamber of Secrets, when the kid with the camera comes up to Harry and he is like, "Hey, can I take your picture?" It was just like that.
Yes. It definitely felt like I was the most famous wizard in the Adepticon world.
Someday we'll get a big enough following, we'll be able to do a panel, and we can do a 2-minute unit panel where Joe just goes through like 50 units, 2 minutes per unit as fast as possible.
And that would require me to
That's a
actually
good
have that
idea.
knowledge in my brain and not
No,
outsource it to people who know more about Legion.
that's called a teleprompter, Joe. That's what teleprompters are for. You think every president of the United States has that in his head? Absolutely not. That's teleprompters.
Wait
But
for
yeah,
that'll be at JodoCon.
we talked a lot about JodoCon, I can
The
tell you
true
that
fans.
much. But yes, we might have some new people joining us. We had people from the Legion arena and Imperial Assault, and I know we had some crossover with Marvel Crisis Protocol, which I do want to talk about a little bit because as a born again MCP fan, previously known as an MCP hater, I think it just came down to Marvel Crisis Protocol horning into the last Fantasy Flight in-flight report that we really had back in the day. And yes, that's true. But like in hindsight, it was like, hey, I want to hear Fantasy Flight stuff. And then after the fact, it was like, that was the last one we ever had. Like a real
It
one we
was
ever had.
it was the Mandalorian showing up in Boba Fett's episode of game company press press release
He gets
reports.
it. Joe gets it. After living together for a week, Joe gets me. He gets me.
But
But I'm
you're
gonna
right that
say,
this really did feel like the spiritual successor to the in-flight report in a
oh,
way that I was not expecting. I was thinking like, oh, they're probably not even going to announce anything. It's going to be like this non-update, and they just went off the rails.
hmm
I feel like they threw out way more than Fantasy Flight ever did at their things.
Honestly, yeah, I think they did.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of like, hey, like this is like way in the future, like who knows when, but it's coming, and here's a little peek at it,
Mhm.
which is cool.
Well, yes. I mean, up to a certain point, they had Star Wars and Arkham and Marvel at the end, but also Warhammer and Keyforge and
Oh, oh
Lord of
god.
the Rings and Game of Thrones and two flavors of Warhammer. So they had a lot. So I mean, yeah, but because AMG is just primarily one genre, it's still amazing how much they talked about. And for those of us that are joining us for the first time, we don't talk about MCP except in reference to what we had previously thought about Shatterpoint, but I am, and I'll own it, a previously known as MCP hater. But at this point, having demoed it at Gen Con last year, next door to Joe's Legion demo, and seeing everything what they're doing nowadays post core box, it's really good. I am blown away. I was cheering for everything they announced at this, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, but I am definitely pre-ordering Nightcrawler and Bishop box. You got a couple
Those looked
options
cool.
for building them for both of them, and it's so good. Yes,
I
and
was like,
swords or no swords for Nightcrawler.
yeah, I was
Option,
like some
it's an
guy, like
option. Options are good.
there was a guy who was so excited about Bishop, like
Yes.
the one guy who like, and I was just like, he was like in 10 seconds of Days of Future Past, and he's in my favorite Marvel Snap deck, and that's about all I know about that guy.
I
Marvel
told Joe to go watch
overall,
the animated series. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, overall, Marvel had extreme hype. I guess it's just a different type of fan base, but the people in the audience were screaming their heads off for every Marvel character, and it
Yeah.
was much more subdued for Star Wars. And that's not a knock against the hype for Star Wars. That's just how extreme the hype is for Marvel. I was
Yeah.
like a little off put, like, wow, these people are a little too into, and some of the characters I had no idea who they were, and people were screaming their heads off, and I guess they're fan favorites. I don't know.
Is Shadow King not obscure?
I
You
was
know
like, "Is
what?
that Kingpin with a demon coming out of him?" They
If
didn't say the names of most of the characters. They assumed you knew they were. So I was like, I still don't know who that is.
yeah, but if the model had been um April Ludgate from Parks and Rec, if that had been the model,
Is she Shadow King in that show?
yeah,
Huh.
she is. She is Shadow King incarnate in Legion, and she is amazing. Okay,
He
but
looks like Kingpin.
he
He looks
does.
like
But
Kingpin.
what can you do? Yeah, one has a fez and one doesn't.
Kingpin can wear a fez. I don't know.
Does that just mean he's a Doctor Who fan?
High five.
Kingpin could have a gene. Marvel characters get so many weird things in the comics that I've never heard of. You know, like Jubilee is like a vampire and has like a baby. There's like a million.
Yeah, just for a little while.
And Kingpin only had a genie and a fez for a little while. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
um,
When are we
Yes.
gonna get that baby? We've probably talked too long about Marvel Crisis Protocol, but there
Yes,
were a lot of announcements for it.
I was gonna
I am
say yes, Joe. Final word.
I'm happy Evan's come around on it because it's as little as I've played it, it is a very fun game. Look at
When
that.
Captain America throws his mighty shield. Yes, I am. I'm in. I'm in. Schick and Kemp and Pagani. Okay, I'm here. Now send me stuff. I'm kidding. No, but really, no, I'm kidding. All right. Yes, we will start at the top with X-Wing, which I feel I'm not going to be talking too much. I'm just going to like I'm just going to pitch you, and you all, Kurt and Leo, you hit the ball and Joe will catch it. X-Wing single player starters. And but really, really quick, Leo, you were there in 2012, 1 week after Gen Con, and I bought us both a starter set of 1.0. What? You're right. You're right. You're right. Core set.
But these are sort
Thoughts?
of core sets because they do come
Yes.
with the like all the dials and obstacle pieces and all these different things that normally I don't think have come with like a faction starter before now. So they come with a damage deck, including they're actually like the special premium damage decks, which I'm surprised. Maybe they're just
Are
trying to.
they? Or are they just
Yeah, they
larger
have
in
the little.
damage?
Yeah, they have the little illustrations of like the X-wing on them.
Don't the standard ones have that?
No, I don't. No.
I thought by default they all had the little blueprint of an X-wing on it, and then all the bonus ones have like a Y-wing or a Fang fighter or a Tie fighter.
True.
Yeah, I
Uh,
couldn't
So,
tell you. That's
so
for sure.
maybe I'm wrong on that, but they are more extensive than the other starters we've had. They come with like quick play cards. They both come with 4 ships, 3 different ships type. Which, like, if I were just getting into the Oh, you're right. It's 8 instead of 6, which is
Hmm.
probably necessary.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and so I don't think they said anything about the price. I'm guessing they are more expensive than starters we've had in the past, but if you
Hmm.
were just getting into the game, these would be really great faction starters that you get for the Rebels, 2 A-wings, an X-wing, and a Y-wing. And for Empire, 2 TIE fighters, a TIE bomber, and a TIE advance. Like those would be like that's a whole list
I
right there.
mean,
Those,
I
Yeah.
don't even need those ships, but it's tempting for me because it comes with a very cool round counter, which because this is like the first like introductory set since the 2.5 rule changes. And this is where the
Yes.
first physical 2.5 rule books will be too. Because right now, if you want to
Mhm.
learn, how to play, you got to look it up online or print it or whatever. Now you can actually have a rule book. The the loadout cards I think are great because I still think X-Wing is super fun, but I just don't have a brain power to like try and think of list building. And so when they're just like built in like that is very cool. And they did point out that unlike the scenario packs, all of those pre-built ships in the loadout cards are things you could build with existing cards. Because I think in some of the scenario ones, there's a little bit more like flavorful, like, oh, this has a unique ability only for
Mhm.
the scenario. But um, and that's
and
just they just seem like a great way for a brand new player to hop in with. Ooh.
So the Rebel Alliance Squadron Starter Pack has a curious combination of one X-wing, one Y-wing, and two A-wings. I mean, maybe points-wise that makes sense, but that's not what I would have immediately thought of as a rebellion starter. I guess I'm still stuck on like the original 2X 1Y from back in the day. And then the Galactic Empire Squadron Starter Pack has that's Vader's custom tie, a tie bomber, and two regular old plain Jane tie fighters. I mean, I guess that seems more uh not maybe necessarily points balanced. Maybe it is points balanced. I'm sure it is, but in terms of the story wise, that seems more balanced than two A's, an X, and a Y to me.
I don't know. The A-wings make sense to me. Like I think of like Rebels season 1 and 2 where they like mostly had A-wings for their squadrons, you know. I I feel like it's pretty cool and like I do think the points will match that better than having a bunch of X-wings or B-wings. So, I don't know. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, get what you mean. Where like X-wing is like that is, I mean, it's the name of the game.
Mhm.
Why is there not two
Exactly.
X-wings?
Exactly.
But I don't know. Two A-wings seem like if you're gonna double up on a ship in a core, it's gonna be the cheaper ship, which like we see, it's the Tie Fighter, the cheaper one. It's when you
Mhm.
get doubles of. Eh, I'm
Yeah,
tempted just
I
because.
don't know.
It makes sense points wise. Just for me personally, story wise, I wouldn't double up the A wing, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It neither of these is gonna be a world beater in tournaments, but it's meant to get you going.
And both of them show that like I mean AMG is trying to court new players. They think they can get
Mhm.
new players, right? So hopefully that's a good sign. Hopefully they're right about that and they're going to be pulling new
Yeah,
players in. I hope it's not like too late to keep bringing in new players, you know?
right.
So,
Yeah,
That's a good
they
question.
they did say that they were like, hoping to catch people who never made the jump from one to two or
Mhm.
whatever. And when I mean, back in the day when that happened, that's when I said, okay, now I'm going to stop buying everything and go for just one faction. So maybe there's more people who see a more viable way to go forward. But also, if there are people who never made that jump, aren't they still going to want those conversion kits? Or if I don't know.
Mm,
Yeah, it seems
Yeah,
like probably
that's
just
true.
better for brand new,
Brand new people,
Totally.
yeah.
or just get 2 of these starter sets, which is going to be more expensive but cooler than just one of the core boxes to play at home with your kid or whatever.
Yeah, it certainly gets you to like a normal tournament sized list a lot
Mm.
faster since it's one faction and it's several ships. So
I
I don't
don't think
think
so.
so.
I
No, I
think they
don't.
just
Yeah, I don't
came
think
with
so.
like new debris, like
Yeah,
the gas clouds or whatever.
and they came with 3 ships, which really wasn't quite enough for most
Yeah.
lists.
Mhm.
Yeah. These are definitely long overdue products, and hopefully they're not too late.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I'm sure we'll see more sequel
mhm.
trilogy ones, a scum one, possibly multiple even scum ones if they wanted to like I mean, you could keep doing multiple of these per faction with different ship mixes if they really wanted. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
if they will, but maybe we'll see more announced.
Yeah, depending on what these wind up costing, I feel like this is what, in hindsight, I would have liked to have seen back in 2012, obviously, with
Yeah.
a go ahead. If they were smart, which they are, uh, each of these would cost between 40 and 50 USD.
Well, the recent packs that came out that had 3 ships, like the Skystrike Academy and Phoenix Squadron Cell, those were all $60, or at least that's what their MSRP is now.
And
Maybe
that's
they were
without
cheaper.
templates or damage deck. And I
Ugh.
think the prices have gone up since then. So I
Mm,
would
The,
think these are going to be a good chunk more
the
than stuff like
But
probably
these were.
60 at least, because the core box is $47, which comes with one less ship than these things come with.
but I agree overall. But since these are starters, I think they would be willing to take a hit in order to get people into the hobby.
I mean, maybe I wouldn't say that they've done that with Shatterpoint, um,
Yeah, no,
or like Legion, like the battle forces. Those are
uh,
all higher
I
priced. I
I
feel like, but
agree. I and it's
it's all us
weird, and I
speculating.
will address a lot of that later on, but I'll say when it comes to pricing your starter packs against your regular invested people packs, like Games Workshop really discounts their starter packs.
I hope they're smart about it.
Joe,
I I I was scrolling through all of the X-Wing products on the Asmodee shop, and they are up for pre-order for
Oh, okay.
$74 a piece.
I honestly was expecting more than that, so that could be worse. It's
un-
not as cheap as other
yeah,
ones, but
under 100 is good. I still would have put, if it was me, I would have said under 60. But that's just me.
yeah, I think
I
so.
don't
I
know.
mean, it's a little risky.
It's a tough call because you're not getting a lot of plastic for that much.
Getting a lot of cardboard.
You get a lot of cardboard. And we'll talk about more about the plastic to cardboard ratio a little bit later. But we're spending a lot of time on here. We got the The Outrider, the YT2400 is coming back. The Nightmare himself from first edition is back in the game. Legends and all, Mr. Dash Rendar is here. Quick thoughts on that, because we got a lot to get through. So give me your quick thoughts. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
And like for
question is,
people,
why not the kids from Rebels piloting this ship? Are they in here instead of Dash? Those annoying
They
kids?
might have pilot cards, the Iron Squadron.
I mean,
Yeah.
as far as we know, I mean, they didn't mention it. I think they mentioned that the existing cards have like a slight errata compared to the current card version. I forget if they went to detail on that.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
and
never
and
play it, but I know y'all talked about it a lot.
well, and even in second edition, like the cards already exist in second edition and 2.5 to be
right.
clear, but yeah, this will be the first time you can get it outside of the conversion kit, and the first time you can get the mini if you didn't already own it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what has been unbalanced about it in 2.0, but I they thought to tweak something, I guess, at
Yeah.
least. So
You know, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if they had like a pilot card for Mart Matin in there, because a lot of the I feel like X-Wing has been really on the ball about including some of those more obscure characters who
Oh
were in
yeah,
like one episode of a thing.
they
Also
have
new
been.
with this one is there's a scum version of Dash Rendar. He's not
oh
just
yeah,
Rebel this time.
they
That's
mentioned that.
right.
You're right.
He's pretty
The other
scummy.
thing is the other ship that had only existed in the conversion kits up until now is the TIE Bomber, which of all of the ships, like you think that one should have been like one of the first out of the gate,
Yeah, it
but
should have been.
And one thing that's
um,
That's
interesting
your
about
baby.
this, the picture they had shows two minis. So that I don't think they said, but that implies it's a two pack instead of. And
two pack shower.
I don't know if you guys
That's
could
it.
tell when you were in person, but did it look to you like in the picture that maybe they're both a default paint job, or is like one with the white stripes? It's really hard to tell
They
from a
Yeah.
screenshot.
they both looked like the default paint
Yeah.
job. They
Just
did mention
gray.
that
Okay.
again. This is like a reapplication of paint. It's not like a total one for one of what we had before. So these minis do have a new method of paint, but I definitely did not think that there was a white stripe on one of them.
No, there is not in the picture that was shown.
So it's kind of interesting that it seems to be a two pack. Um,
That
guess that'll be
seems
nice.
that seems good to me. TIE fighters, I mean, given the implication of the starter set from 2012 and 2015 is that two ties is what you need.
And they've been doing two packs with a lot of the last several releases, like the Clone Z95 or the
Mhm.
The tie
P38.
whisper or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they've even had
Silencer.
three packs. That one might have been a three pack, but they've been doing two packs more often too. So the bomber makes more sense than some. Again, if you don't already own it. uh,
I don't. So, hey. Yeah. Oh, and talking about paint jobs, I do want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Dallas Kemp, who is in charge of the um, not necessarily graphic design, but the paint designs on these ships. He's the one in charge of making sure that these ships look as good as they are. And I got to talk with him uh, at for a long stretch of time. I was going to ask him to borrow the Sharpie on the desk that he was standing at, but then I got in a conversation with him kind of on accident, and he's the one you can see painting up the miniatures on stream. Super cool dude. Like, if you ever want to talk painting with somebody, that's the guy you want to talk with. If you want to talk game design, you talk with Mr. Schick, and they will talk your ear off, and it's wonderful. So shout out to them for being only too willing to give their time to talk about this stuff. So just wanna put that out there really quick on who's in charge of how these ships are looking. Do we want to move on to the next announcement that was the Store Championship Tournament kits? These look fantastic.
Yeah, a
they
lot
came with
of
a bunch of alt arts, I think, for like every faction. Seems like they're pretty
Mhm.
close.
well,
Yeah,
there is this little punch out of cardboard. I'm not sure if those are just for use with a specific scenario that comes with it, which would seem weird for a championship, or if they're just
Yeah.
like, hey, here's like the one of the prizes is some punch board for use with the existing scenarios. The alt arts are very cool. The little like propaganda poster that you get when you
yeah,
win as
that's
like your
that's
world's
pretty good.
invite is very neat. All of the ones that we're going to see have a take on that. The thing that I will say I miss from Fantasy Flight Organized Play is acrylic tokens. Love me some
Yes.
acrylic tokens, and it
Yeah.
looks like going forward, AMG is just going to be about the alt arts. At Worlds, they did give us a little like a drawstring bag, like a dice bag type thing, which was pretty nice, and like a like a box with some foam that you could put minis in. But I think that might have been a holdover from FFG times. Because there was a what? I want acrylic stuff. Yeah, it's just something I would have expected in a store championship kit in the past.
Yeah, because that's like
But
a little more premium. It's interesting that they have the cardboard cutouts for the missions, which are currently only a print at home type of thing,
Mhm. Yep.
but they only show one in the image. So it's like, is that just for the champion? That's the only person who gets a cardboard thing for the missions? I don't
like,
know,
yeah,
but
like
it'll
an
still be nice to get it.
exclusive
Wow.
piece of cardboard feels a little less
Yeah.
like fancy. Um,
Yeah.
something we didn't.
Season. Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
and something that we haven't mentioned yet that they wanted to impress upon is that you can earn a world's invite at a store championship now,
Which is new.
um,
Yeah.
which is new and good. And from what I remember talking about at Gen Con with some people, was the intention is basically to get more access to people for worlds, because as it is right now, a lot of the time, not 100% of the time, but a lot of the people who make it to worlds are the people who can afford to or have the time to travel all over the country to go to
Or the
these
world.
events. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say at that point, why even limit it at all? Why not just let anyone who wants to come? Because
Like the
if
olden days.
yeah, because if the store championship kits are going to be that common out in the wild, then why have it any limit? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, I wonder what the criteria is for getting one.
yeah, it
In
might be more limited or
You
in
might
any
have to like
event.
provide some kind of proof that your store actually has a healthy scene.
You mean like, hey, I won a store championship back in 2019. Here I am.
I mean, there were people who, back in the day would just like have like an eBay store that they said, "Hey, this is my game store. Give me the organized play kits," and then they would,
Ugh,
not even
that's
have a
gross.
physical location to run events, and then
Sell all
sell it
the
off.
components off. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they have better verification for that now. Speaking of organized play, they did show an upcoming organized play kit. I really like what
There you
AMG
go.
has
You
been
got
doing
it.
with
Good
organized
job, Joe.
play. Uh,
Children
uh,
of Mandalore
That's the
organized
yeah,
one.
play kit.
the little kids.
Cool prizes only, or
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yep.
training or something.
So let me drop this in your lap really quick, both for Leo and for Kurt. Would you rather have an engaging, ongoing, story-based campaign for X-Wing, or would you rather have more fiddly bits, nice stuff to get in your tournament kit? So yes to both. You'd like to have, I mean, ideally yes, you would have both, but if you had to pick, would it be you go into the store to play with friends to move the story along, and there's maybe a couple of cardboard thingies to get, or you go into the store, beat the crap out of your friends, and win some acrylics?
Evan looks confused. Heroes
No,
of
I'm
the Aturi cluster or whatever it was
yeah,
called.
it took me a hot second, but I got there. Heroes of something. Um
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say they both sound cool, but I think in practice, most people get a lot less use out of a campaign type thing. It's just a lot easier to arrange a
yes.
one-off match where it's like, hey, here's some cool prizes or whatever, and everyone's excited to get
Mhm.
alt arts and stuff, you know?
On a Saturday where you spend 5 hours.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Most campaigns
players
fizzle.
aren't as interested in it. If you're talking a campaign that takes more than one session to play it, I think that's just no one's gonna want to do that in like an organized setting.
Mhm.
If with the way they're doing it with these little one-off scenarios is interesting diversion from the way the game normally plays. But again, I think a lot of people would probably just be happy with, let's just play standard with, you know, instead of these custom scenario
Mhm.
cardboard, give us some fancier tokens. I
Yeah.
like the idea of the scenarios and they're fun to play, but like Leo said, at the end of the day, now you're stuck with the components for some kind of scenario that you're in all likelihood never going to play again.
Yeah.
When if you had some tokens, those are going to last you forever as long as you have the game.
Uh And speaking of scenarios, we have another scenario pack. Joe and I spent the weekend looking for, what was it, the Battle of Yavin? That
Yeah, I finally was like, I should finally buy this because I want to play it, and then we couldn't find it. I know one of the local stores has it, so I'll go get it. But
well, okay, there you go. But they announced the Battle over Endor scenario pack. So another very narrative driven scenario pack. I don't know how this plays into the competitive scene, or if this is just Joe or Leo calls Kurt over to play for through some Endor scenarios for a day.
it's that. It's not. Yeah,
Mhm.
but
Real life. Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
they said like in Yavin the main draw was making the trench run in the Battle of Coruscant. The main objective was I think taking out the shield so you could get into the hangar of a capital ship. And this one I think they said it's your one side is trying to take out the bridge of a superstar destroyer while avoiding
Mhm.
its turbo lasers and stuff. And they did say there is a you can crash your A-wing into it if you need to. Um,
Yes. Ah! Too late.
yeah, and this is the kind of scenario thing that I think seems a little bit more appealing because it does feel like you'd probably get a lot more mileage out of these, which makes sense. This is why they're selling these as products rather than
Mhm.
providing them as organized play kits. But these are, I think, despite not having bought or played the ones they've already come out with yet, these still excite me a lot.
We'll get you them. Don't worry.
One thing that just is my brain going, huh, is calling it Battle over Endor rather than Battle of Endor. Obviously, that's something probably from licensing, but I'm just like, why do they call it that, not that?
Yeah, not battle over the third moon or fifth moon.
Oh, you're right. Now it's much more over makes it very specifically the space battle. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But then they should have an accompanying Legion scenario pack that lets you play through
Maybe
the
we'll
battle
I'm sure they will
on
once Ewoks come
Endor.
out.
once the Ewok Battle Force comes out, they've already got the shield bunker product. Then they can make a
Oh,
little pack
and the
that's all of
golden
that.
god that we'll talk about in a little bit.
So that can be battle at sea level of Endor. Then they can do another scenario with submarines. It'll be a whole new
Battle
game that's Star Wars submarines.
The
battle under
Be
Bismarck
naval
Endor,
battle.
on Endor.
under Endor,
Under there you go, you
or
got
there could
it.
be the Gorax cave. We don't know that it's not below ground.
Hey.
That's
So
battle for Endor.
Joe mentioned we got a brand new wedge in the battle over Endor pack, but we also have a new TIE Defender because according to the lore, TIE Defenders were at the battle over Endor. And we have Captain Yor? Who the heck is Captain Yor? Who's this
He's
guy?
Was
he's
he
old
not the character
timey,
in Rebels?
as
Or
in
not?
no, that was Volt Scarus.
Oh yeah.
Yor, he as in Days of.
Oh, Days of Future Yor.
It's a
Of
pilot we've
course.
had before.
Well, let's.
Well, then I
Oh,
should
he's a
know
shuttle
him.
pilot.
Yeah, he's the guy from the opening shots of the movie. Command station, this is ST-321, code clearance blue. We are starting our
Oh,
approach. Deactivate the
that
security
guy.
shield.
No, I think that was Rear Admiral Shirano,
Oh,
actually, wasn't
that
it?
guy.
Says Yor was a male human captain who served the Galactic Empire, blah blah blah.
Of course he was male. Was he
Onyx
also
to
white?
Onyx. Yes,
You have
and
to figure
British.
this out.
A human
he
white
was-
male.
He was piloting Darth Vader's shuttle.
Oh. And
You
then
know,
jumped in a
this reminds
Defender?
me. We need a. I
Correct
don't even remember what we
gender.
called it. The Micro Osis Academy videos that we had like one of that explained
Mycosis?
these like who the heck, what is this thing on this random game card?
We should. That's a great series. You should absolutely do that.
Right? What it was like the it was such a great video though, because it was about like the Tier Fond belly run. It's like what the heck is that? And you explained it, and now we all know.
Oh, that I mean,
Well,
he's elite. He's elite.
episode 2, who is Captain Yor?
I
There you
had to
go.
check quick. We don't have Yor in a Defender yet, and I swear we had him in something, but I can't find which ship it is because he's
I mean,
not
he
in
is
the show.
now.
He's maybe
Uh,
just like a crew
Assuming it's a
upgrade, but-
he.
He's known for his catchphrase, "You're in trouble now."
I want that T-shirt. So moving on, that we did get a little tease ready for
Didn't he?
takeoff. We got. I heard the guy next to me go, "Ooh, gunboats."
I could have sworn they already announced that. I could have sworn they announced that already.
Well,
The most
yeah,
ugly ass Legends ass ship besides the E-wing.
the E-wing. Yes, that's the ugliest. Yes.
I feel like they were expecting like more cheers than they got. Like they were really expecting some Legends
Hey.
fans in the audience, and it was a
That
little
guy
They
quiet.
were
next to
probably
me.
like,
That guy next to me, he was like, "Ooh, gunboats." What, go up and down?
do just the 2 outer ones go, or do the 2 inner ones go too?
All of them. They just go
I
like
thought so.
Wednesday Adams. That's how they go. Hmm.
Mm.
I thought you were gonna say when you finally decided to buy Imperial Assault and they announced Legion the next day. All right, that's enough. That's enough X-wing. We're done with X-wing.
I'll just say my quick sum up of X-wing.
Subtweeting Mythical
I
Mothman.
want to say though on X-wing, overall, I mean it was a lot of different things. It wasn't as cool as it could have been. It wasn't any new ships. It was a lot of catching up on old stuff. So I wasn't
But
that
that's
excited at this
good.
point. But
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It was very
was
good and healthy stuff, but not like exciting stuff.
Yes.
yeah, I'm surprised they
100%.
didn't announce a ship from Andor or Mandalorian or something, right? You know. So
All they gotta do. Okay.
not to be negative about it, but I was like,
No, you're
these
not
weren't
being
that
negative.
great announcements, you know.
You said it. It's not exciting, but it's good. It's healthy. Get all the 1.0 stuff. They said it like at least twice. That stuff that had not yet made the jump from 1.0 to 2.0 is coming. A couple times they said that. And that's so good for the health of the game. Not
And the
just
other thing
for,
is
yeah,
having
go.
having any announcements on the schedule and any upcoming releases is better than what we've had for several months for X-Wing where there was nothing at all announced. So
Yeah.
having anything on the schedule is something more than we have had. So
I will say I'm still waiting for the Colossus Aces. How are they not in this game?
I mean, it's the fireball is.
Yeah, the Fireball is, but not the rest of the Aces.
if the show had more seasons, maybe they would have felt like it, but
I suppose,
it
but I
was
mean,
pretty underwhelming.
it's tailor made. Like this game and that show go hand in hand.
I want them to just make it they could even make it compatible, same scale, same bases, but give supplemental rules for the racing through the little rings and stuff that they do.
It'd be cool.
Because I wouldn't care if they announced the aces unless they were rules that let me play them as a racing game.
It'd be pretty sweet. Okay. I promise, Kurt. It's Armada time.
Yeah, they
So-
actually had some announcements for Armada, so it's not completely
Yeah.
dead.
People were excited for Armada. Yes.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's
that's
not like
that's very fair.
right.
Because a
I
lot of
mean,
people were commenting like,
something.
I thought this was a dead game. There's more than 0 announcements for it, so I mean that's
there's
something.
a pulse. There's like a faint pulse when we thought there was none.
Hey,
Because
they had a world championship. It was busy. Like on Sunday, people still there, people still streaming, people still gaming. It was as full on that floor as X-Wing was. 100%. Woo! And
Did
you
you win?
won.
Nice.
and
We
retire.
have a game we win, folks. It's Armada. Own it.
Oh yeah, I got that plaque is still on my wall.
Damn
Yeah.
right. Look at
No, it's
that.
store championship 2017.
Armada is our game.
Yeah.
This
that would be
was
nice.
identical to the second place world's prizes this year. I tweeted
Yes,
pictures of them.
That's right.
So the Armada and X-Wing second place runner-up was exactly this, obviously with just different art and numbers.
That type of trophy. And one of them had Hera, and I said,
Yeah.
I want that. I don't want the pillared crystal Fortress of Solitude looking first place trophies.
Ooh, you can see where they get them. It's on the back. Sterling Trophy.
Ooh, nice job, Sterling Trophy. Probably
So
Minneapolis,
fun.
They got a
Minnesota, I'm
phone
guessing.
number. I think these things are kind of funny because
Minneapolis.
they feel very like old-fashioned, like a little wooden plaque.
They're cool though.
But
So
they did.
Okay. Yes. There you go. They look
and
sweet.
they also reassured everyone that they will be continuing to support Armada organized play because obviously they had previously said, okay, we're kind of done with like active development on this game, but now they're saying we are continuing to do organized play support. The organized play kit is pretty cool. It looks like we got some alt arts for every faction.
But what's super sweet that they announced is the store championship winner. And do correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, because I'll probably get this wrong. The Superstar Destroyer card, the alt art card that you get, is also your invite card to Worlds because they wanted your World Championship invite to also just be a cool ass card.
it's on the back.
Yeah, it's like a big hunkin' card for the. I mean, if any ship was going to have it, it would be that one.
We saw a number of those on the tables at Worlds. We saw
bet.
a couple of supers. Yes, rapid reinforcements number 1.
Yeah, so they showed one of the pictures has a Victory 1 class Star Destroyer for the Empire for the Republic and a Venator for the Empire. And I don't know if those are the only ones. Maybe they are, but it's still cool, yeah, to get like actual physical ones that you didn't print yourself. So those will be nice.
And speaking of rapid reinforcements, that was the other big announcements that Rapid Reinforcements 2 is coming this summer to Armada, and one of the cards that is featured is Governor Price. I have no idea if she was previously featured in Armada, but I hate her and I like her at the same time, so I'm happy to see her.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and so this is a new version with an actually usable ability, like an attack boost, which is cool and thematic. So that'll be nice to get.
So the first Rapid Reinforcements pack was print and play. Do we know if this one is going to be print and play as well? Are we
They didn't
assuming
really
it is?
say.
They did not say.
I assume so.
I will say
A
yes.
Belbulab. There's
Uh,
some like I think probably a Rex Admiral or something like that. And then
really?
some other squadron.
I don't
Oh,
think
I see
that's
what you're
right. I
talking
mean,
about.
Rex is in the art, but he's not centered enough to
It's
make
probably
the card be about him.
Yeah,
Anakin
Yeah.
Admiral.
probably.
Yeah, and then some Gauntlet fighter, but we can't see any of the letters on that. So
Yeah, we can tell that. So what I would say is that if nothing else, AMG, and I mentioned this to Joe earlier, that AMG is really good about publishing uh, updated card packs. That's kind of a thing that we struggled with through the early stages of X-Wing and IA/Armada. Was, are they going to print cards that we need to buy again in order to get the newest ones? And it was kind of a struggle back and forth between printing new quality cards versus giving us free print on demand. But for both MCP and Legion, uh, AMG has been really good about printing like semi-annual card update packs. And I really, really hope that if they don't publish anything else for Armada, they would at least print these for people to buy at their local store instead of print and play, because
that would be nice.
that's not great.
Yeah.
Right, and I hope that they would. I hope that they would look at this and say, like, okay, you know what? Between Rapid Reinforcements 1 and 2, we have enough cards that the cost of printing them is not prohibitive, and we can say, hey, here you go, $10.
It
Yeah,
is. They
yeah,
said
it is.
they said sort of so the life support person metaphor for the game. So we got more of a heartbeat than we expected. And then basically the doctor said, "We're trying to decide if we should bother reviving them or not, if it's going to be profitable for the hospital." They
Yeah.
they said, you know, they're
Yeah.
they're evaluating basically what they want to do with the game. It sounded like they're having internal discussions whether they want to like renew development and make more things or not, which I think is more promising than before when they said, yeah, it's kind of paused.
DOA.
Um, so
Yeah.
I got the, I mean, you know, it's just the one thing he said during the panel, but I did get the impression that maybe some people behind the scenes are like, you know what, maybe we could, you know, pick things up again. People still like this game, right?
Well, and
I
if
hope so.
if they didn't have to say anything about Armada. They honestly didn't. They could have said, MCP, X-Wing Legion, Shatterpoint, and just not even mentioned it.
Which I think
Easily.
had happened at previous like mini extravaganzas where they're just like,
Absolutely.
let's just
Yes.
I maybe just being at worlds that they, were proctoring made them realize, wow, this people love this game and it looks pretty cool and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's safe to walk away from this panel with more hope for the future of Armada than you might have had before.
100%. 100%. It's Legion time, everybody. And
Now
we're not
getting
going
into
to
the
waste
good
any
stuff.
time. What's that, Kurt? Are you
We're
going to
getting
waste
into the
time?
good stuff.
Yes.
Finally, says
Good
the
stuff,
audience.
baby. We've already seen Ahsoka the model, but now we've seen Ahsoka the card with the subtitle of Fulcrum.
Yeah, it's Rebel Ahsoka. Still
Yes.
no
The best
no Republic,
Ahsoka.
but yeah.
Kind of, yeah, she kind of is.
I
From Rebels, the TV show.
just the best look for the character in my opinion, and I love that mini. It looks so good painted up. We were talking on the Discord a little while ago when they announced it how it is the least dynamic mini we've seen from Atomic Mass games in a long time. She's just standing there with her lightsaber. She's not even like posed like she's in her card art,
Yeah.
with like one in front, one
One
in
arm
back.
forward, one arm back.
It which
I mean,
I
looking
dig
at the
it, but it's
other models from like MCP, you got Magic jumping out of a portal, you got Black Cat flipping backwards, and now you've got Ahsoka just kind of like standing there, and it's like,
I mean, even the
really?
Ventress model, she's, sort of in motion. I
Yeah.
like this sculpt and I'm excited for this. It's just a strange departure from what they've been doing lately.
Yes.
Maybe this is one that Fantasy Flight made and
Oh,
just been
we're gonna
sitting
put
there.
it
Who
on the
knows?
shoulders of Fantasy Flight?
No, I'm just saying it's weird. Like, why isn't she like on top of a weird rock?
No.
Like Boba Fett's on a weird
I
rock.
agree. She has no tactical rock,
It's
and that
just
is odd.
I like the sculpt and it looks pretty.
It looks
and
good for a standing
Yes,
sculpt.
she
Right.
The
looks
details are good.
very powerful,
absolutely.
threatening. She's basically like, "You want to go?" But
Yes.
it's very not what I would expect from Atomic Mass.
Very acrobatic style.
Yeah, her thing. I mean,
Um,
even in the slide, even in the PowerPoint slide they showed us, we've got the model where she's just standing there, and then
yeah,
the art piece has her on guard.
maybe
And it's
she's
Yeah.
like,
just she's
what?
thinking, "Ugh, I could be in Shatterpoint right now, but I'm in Legion."
Okay.
And
Okay.
we don't need to go over the full stats. I think the one interesting thing, she does have Jar Kai mastery, like Asajj has. Um, I didn't find the stats super exciting personally, but I'm sure her command cards will be more interesting once we see those. I think they
Yeah,
did say that she has 4 command cards, right?
one of which is a team up like Ventress. They said
I don't
we
think
don't
we
know who
know
she
who
teams up
with.
with. Nope,
Maybe
Nope,
Sabine would
not
make the
yet.
most sense, but it's
that
all speculation.
would make the of all the existing
Adult
characters.
Ahsoka?
Like a double operative. She's just the only Rebels character we have right now, right?
Right,
So
Aside from
Callus.
yes, with Sabine would make sense. Yes, you're
yeah.
correct.
But yeah, I mean we don't actually know yet. They didn't really say. So
Yeah. And Impact 2, so she can slice through those damn dark troopers, right?
I don't want
free
to talk about
courage,
him.
which is more than a lot of characters. 6
Free
health,
courage is good. Yes, absolutely.
independent
And
dodge, which ties into the Jarkai.
surge to crit.
You get
Defend
a,
is
a
when you're
dodge token when you get a face up. So it's like the opposite of independent dodge. It's just the opposite.
Okay.
She gets a dodge no matter what, basically.
oh
That's
wait,
good.
she's independent dodge and No,
Oh,
she's
wait.
not independent.
No.
Oh, no, she doesn't have
She's
independent. I don't
not.
know why I thought that. Sorry. No. So, yeah.
I think as Ventress might have that.
Yeah.
So Ventress likes to not have a token to get a dodge. Soka likes to have a token to get a dodge.
Yeah. Yeah.
More of things we've already known about, but with card details. The Ewoks. Do I remember? Did somebody groan when this came on screen? Because I was excited. I'm really excited for these guys.
I believe it was a
that?
douche nozzle.
An uncultured Philistine.
Yes.
Yeah, they showed us the cards for Wicket, Logray first.
Well, the back of Logray's card.
Right.
Yeah.
I will point out, I like on the back of the card for Logray, the card for the Ewoks in general, like all of like the framing and stuff is like stone and wood, and on the back there's like little kill markers of stormtroopers and like a little 3PO like,
It's like
etching.
a rope and moss and leaves and stuff. It all looks really good.
Yes, it's all very good.
Yeah, Wicket, hero of bright tree.
Yes.
I thought sometimes.
I don't think I'm holding the Grievous card right now. There's a lot of empty space on the back. No lore there.
Some have.
I thought some
Okay.
have.
Yeah, some
Maybe.
have. Not like Decipher CCG levels of lore, so don't hold your breath.
Oh, this is very up to date lore too, because he officiated the wedding of Han Solo and Leia Organa at the Great Tree, as seen in the book *The Princess and the Scoundrel*. That
I mean, he probably got his, ordination online. I'm sure.
That was my favorite part of the book, the wedding, where they're like, the Ewoks just sort of assume they get to run it, and they're just like, oh. And
But what did they
3PO's like,
serve
I'll officiate, and they're like, no, you won't.
But at the reception, what did they have? Like roasted stormtrooper hors d'oeuvres? It's like
I think they skipped over that part in the book.
mm, it was just yeah.
Just a lot.
A lot of keywords.
And his sling has a new no. Yeah, which is interesting.
Well, if there was a comm link in Leia's helmet that she gave him. In any event.
Somebody during the battle is just hearing Ewoks screaming because they don't, they're just putting the button down the whole time and don't know how to use it. Who's on this channel?
The Ewoks should have their own communicator slot where it's just
I think.
Well, that's why he has Scouting Party 2. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. There's also a new keyword on his sling, which is primitive, which we have no idea what that does yet. I assume it's probably a negative keyword that you don't get. Or is from something.
No?
Something that reduces your results or something? Or
it's
like worse against armor?
It's something
that would make sense.
It's something having to do with using primitive weapons against armor like an ATST.
That would make sense.
One thing I find really interesting about Wicket's stats, he has 5 health, which is as much as most human that are, unique characters in the game. It's a little funny, but I guess he's a tough guy.
I guess it might also just be because a lot of times you got to assume health plus defense dice, maybe not necessarily how much vitality they have, but just how hard it is to kill them. Like maybe he's harder to hit because he is a small little guy.
But that's why he has low profile, nimble, dodge 1, etc. So
Chihuahua.
He's only 70 points, which is cheap compared to a lot of hero units.
And he's a commander, not an operative, even though
which
I don't think
weird.
he was I would have expected it to be an operative because, like, I guess
Yeah.
if you got to pick someone to be a commander, it would have been maybe Logray. But like, you're not gonna have unique characters besides Wicket and Logray to start. You're not gonna have like Paplu or Chief Chirpa or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's at least one other one that's a named Ewok. And I'm not
Logray,
talking about Wicket's girlfriend from the animated series.
Anissa.
yeah.
Why isn't she here?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Someday.
Logray, the superstitious shaman, and then we don't get to see if he's an operative or a commander. Be cool if he had like Logray in the Wizards of the Coast miniatures game had a force pool, so he could like, reroll stuff.
Wow.
I'm excited for them. Wicket on paper looks like he might be a bit much, but I could have sworn they had mentioned something that Ewoks startle more easily than other people or something.
But they soon return.
Yeah.
Well, but he does have the Rebel logo on his mercenary slot.
But synergy.
I assume he'll also
Anyways.
have command cards. We haven't seen those yet. So that
Yeah.
or wait, we so what we do have next are generic command cards for
The,
Ewoks.
the
Or if Logray has some that we haven't
we
seen yet.
probably don't need to analyze every single one of these cards, but I
No.
love the art on hiding
We
in plain
have
sight.
too much to talk about. The art is fantastic.
The interesting
But
part is there's
let's
4 command cards. There's a log trap, which sounds cool. There's like a stealth thing. So there's got a bunch of different options.
talk about bug people. Geonosians. I mean, we can talk about 3PO if you want.
Yeah, let's talk about 3PO.
Talk about 3PO. Go.
Yeah, they showed the back of the Chewbacca card because we know Chewbacca in a stolen ATST is usable in this battle force, and 3PO as a commander for 40 points, Golden God subtitle, and the cool. He's got Master Storyteller, which he can hand out surge tokens to guys, but it increases for each round it is. So basically, the longer the game has been going, the more powerful his storytelling is.
I
And
thought
then
that was really cool.
I love the keyword called divine influence, which just says while they're within range 1 of 3PO, Ewoks get Guardian. Basically, yeah, they Ewoks can bite the bullet for him if they're nearby. Yeah, specifically. It's very fun and funny that 3PO is a commander for this battle force, and I might need to look into getting the him sitting in the chair, like custom mini or something. Um, no, right, and they already
Yeah.
gave us another version of 3PO. Well, not another version, just another print of him in the Blizzard or the Echo based Defenders came with C3PO.
Yeah.
So that was already, yeah. I don't expect we'd get another one, but it's
Now, do we know, is this going to be one big expansion pack that has all these Ewok units in it, or are they split up a little bit? Do we have any idea?
I don't think they
I don't
told us
think
at
we.
all what the release will be like for it.
Okay. I
Yeah,
couldn't find it on the shop yet.
I was just assuming that we'd probably see Wicket in his own box, Logray in his own box, and then whatever types of units they have. But I could see them being in one big box too, like a Battle
I
Force style box.
if you had to hold my head to the fire and say how this will be released, I think you could put Wicket and Logray in one box, and then generic Ewoks and all the cards in another box. If I had to separate them, I think an Ewok battle force would be perfectly fine. It'd be relatively small, but also fine.
Okay, no bugs.
Yeah, let's talk about bug people. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for Geonosians to finally be in Legion. And I say finally because this seemed like a no-brainer to me to have ye old bug people in Legion as part of the Confederacy of Independent Star Systems.
Seemed like
And
a
we see
half
them
brainer to me.
A
we see them in the
half-brainer?
movie even, right? So compared to a lot of units, they're like
Yeah, I mean,
He knows what's up.
something screen used definitely makes more sense. It's just they're like the Ewoks relegated to one very specific place, which makes it
They
feel
kind of
less
are.
like
They kind of are
army
the
worthy.
Ewoks of the bad guys, yes.
Yeah. They Yeah, so the picture of the minis they show, that looks probably like one squad of, core or special
Mhm.
forces or whatever. But they did mention that there will be Poggle the Lesser and Sun Fac, who I actually had to look up after they said it,
he's
who was in
already in X-Wing as a pilot
oh,
because he's like one of
Yeah.
the I don't know, temple guard or
he's probably one of the
arena guard.
only like named Geonosians besides Click Clack and Poggle. So they're like, well, he's who
And the
we put in
Queen.
stuff. Yeah. Oh, he was killed during the first battle of Geonosis.
Yeah, so he didn't last long.
Um,
I
I'm excited for
want
Poggle the Lesser just because he's got some of my favorite like alien speech
oh yeah.
voice sound design in Star Wars.
I want brain worms. Give me brain worms in Legion. I
Oh, well, yeah, where
love
you
those
can like
episodes.
take over the control of your opponent's army.
Yeah.
I could see a special scenario like for an OP kit. But yeah, we didn't get any like stats or anything on these guys, just the art and the minis, which do look really good.
Yeah.
I
And
will point out. Go ahead.
yes, go ahead. No, I know where you're going. You go ahead.
Uh,
Bring it
I
home.
think I did more flight stand aversion from these sculptors here because these guys who can get some pretty good air with their wings, seen here on the minis, maybe 12 inches off the ground, brushing a very strange squiggle of rock. Um, are there
Or dust
giant?
dust in the air.
Yeah, a wisp.
Yes. Oh, wisp.
Uh, yeah, these guys. I might bust out some of my extra flight stands for them because it looks a little strange to me. More so than some of the other flight stand alternatives we've seen. We need to do like a Star Wars reimagined bullshit thing where every flying character has some sort of physical connection to the ground. That's so that this is what your minis look like.
Yeah, can do that. All right.
But they're cool.
We're gonna be hitting these fast and furious because there's still a lot. So forgive me for rushing. Inquisitors from Rebels, specifically Rebel Season 2 Inquisitors.
Yeah, seventh sister and fifth brother. A slightly better version of the fifth brother, but he still sucks.
Yes,
Fifth
he
brother's
does.
such a loser.
He
Um,
is.
the thing that I think worth pointing out with these minis is the seventh sister's lightsaber has like little motion blur as part of the sculpt, like it's spinning, which is kind of cool, I guess. Um,
Yeah, that's cool.
I think they also said there was something special about the way they fit in your list building, where they somehow both only take up one operative slot, or maybe you
Yeah.
like can choose which one you're gonna use.
They hinted at that.
Oh yeah, so
Oh yeah.
maybe similar to like how malls work, or maybe more like how Idens works, where it's a counterpart rather than
She
a separate
does
unit.
she does have a droid in her art that they showed, but yeah, they didn't show a mini or
Well,
mention the droid, so
yeah, the fact
Mhm.
that it's not on her sculpt gives me hope that it is, like a counterpart like Idens.
that'd be cool.
Because I mean they're
Yeah.
almost the same model. I think hers are D9s and Idens is like an ID10 or something.
Sounds right.
Um, all right, what's next?
Next is Legion store kit for specifically the championship in stores. So we got some
Bunch of alt
additional
arts.
alt arts for Boba, Yoda, Chewie, Grievous, Vader, Gar Saxon, and Pikes, and some
Limited
Limited
visibility.
visibility. Why is there a
Finally.
limited visibility card? Uh,
that would
didn't
be
they already
nice.
give us
That'd
those
be
a while
cool.
back? Hmm. Well, hopefully they at least have.
Pretty sure they were not.
Yeah, that's true.
But still not as interesting as a lot of cards they could have put in here. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That
Whatever.
is, I mean, that's something that was common with Fantasy Flight, where they would provide errata cards through
Mhm.
the organized play kits. The next thing I feel like didn't have as much recognition as I thought, because they did like a little splash teaser slide,
With the
and
Oh,
logo.
not many
yeah.
people were like,
Hmm.
"Oh!" I was like, "Ooh!"
We were like, "Heyo!" What?
You don't recognize that, the Bad Batch logo?
The 99.
No, I watch more Star Wars, nerd, or not
Yeah,
nerd
you fake
enough.
fan.
It's very good,
It's very good.
much
And
better
there
than the
and there
first
were a
season.
bunch of people like, "What's that? What's that supposed to be?" I'm like, "You don't even know, son!"
So
They
yeah,
look
Yes,
the
move
very
on
pictures
to
of
the
the minis
minis.
are
We got
very
the
good.
minis and they look rad as hell, son.
I really
yes.
like the Echo one. And it does include Echo and it does include Omega.
Yeah, you
I
said
When I
right.
saw that, I was like, "Oh, it's our first child mini for Legion," but technically all of the clones are,
That's true.
probably like 18 or something.
We got Junta. We got Nick
Rika,
and
Eco,
Rick and
They all look
Omega.
really cool. They're definitely.
like holding his gun,
Yeah,
aiming at you.
I don't care for that one too
he's sort
much.
of sauntering.
The
The rest of
only
them look like
one.
they're in, action poses, and he's just kind of moseying.
It's like he's walking
Um,
away like, "Fuck you guys."
But
um,
overall, they're cool. They did announce that there will be Republic and Rebel
right,
cards for
that
that.
Who
that that
called
Cool.
it? Who
that
called
would,
it?
yeah, that's exciting for me as a Rebel player who likes these minis and characters and not doesn't play Rebels.
Go
Um,
back, listen
I,
to that episode.
I probably was like, it seems far fetched to have them in Rebels,
Uh-huh.
but
That's what
it
all
makes,
y'all
especially
said.
with season two. I mean, they're not like rebels, but basically at this point in Legion, anybody who's like so much as like said a mean
good
word to a
guy.
stormtrooper. Yeah, basically a good guy.
Yes, exactly.
I wonder if they'll have an option to anytime you shoot at a clone, use stun instead of kill.
You suffer a stress.
That
Suppression,
would
I
be
mean.
interesting. I do get a little bit tired of seeing them just shoot stuns at people.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of Crosshair.
my boy Crosshair being like, I don't give a shit.
Um,
It's time, yo.
I would assume that they'll all also have helmetless options. Seeing as
They have to. They have such distinctive
guess
heads.
so.
They have to.
right,
Yeah.
All right. It's time. It's Shatterpoint time. Get your sandwich, get your drinks, because it is going to be even more. There's so much more to talk about.
I just want to give my quick summary. Those Legion announcements, a lot better than the X-Wing and Armada stuff. Lots of new stuff, lots of cool stuff to be hyped up about.
Yep.
So that was way better.
yeah. And then Shatterpoint, I wasn't expecting, because the first batch of stuff's not out until this summer, I don't think, and we already know a bunch of stuff that's coming in that first wave. So I wasn't really expecting too much, but
No, absolutely not expecting much at all, except for, hey, everyone, remember this stuff? Buy it. Right?
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh.
Right. Which they
Yeah,
accomplished.
but the fact that so many of these have models that they can show us. If they couldn't show us the models, they would not be that far away. Some of them are renders, and that's cool, but many of them are finished models. So let's get started. Wave 3, Night Sisters, Mother Talzin, Savage Opress, and Night Sisters.
Yeah. Looks like they'll all be pretty much in like packs of 4 minis like we saw with Kenobi and Dooku and stuff. Talzin, not one of my favorite characters, but not unexpected. Well, it was unexpected, but then they reminded us that when we were looking at Ventress's card, she had a keyword for Night Sister and a keyword for Dathomirian.
Yeah, you noticed that a few days prior.
And I was like, well, those are very specific keywords. Interesting that and that here they come, more Night Sisters and or Dathomirians.
You called it.
For synergy.
And that they all have some green smoke that they can jump off of.
They all got some. Right. It looks good. The green smoke looks good. It's a little out of place on Savage. If it's optional, I would probably not sculpt my Savage with the green juice. Unless it's like he's dying or being born. But this one's cool. Not an instant buy for me because I got a feeling I'm gonna have to not buy everything. So not an instant buy for me, but
and that's what, in my opinion, Shatterpoint will be for Star Wars as MCP is for Marvel. You buy the ones that you connect with, and you say, "Okay, thanks, bye," to the ones that you're kind of like, "No, I don't really care for that too much."
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be that way, even though I want all of it.
That's for Leo to do. Leo will buy all of them. What?
You need
You're
your
not gonna
power
buy
to grow.
everything? All right, that's fair.
They're like $50 a thing.
50 for a squad of 4.
Speaking of squads of 4,
we've got another
one.
Let's do it.
We got
Mace Windu.
Yeah, Windu with his boys.
Finally, the namesake of Shatterpoint.
Yeah, which
Wolf Squad.
When they explain Shatterpoint, they say Shatterpoints are these moments in Star Wars history where things happen. I'm like, that I've never heard Shatterpoint used to describe like a moment in time in Star Wars history. It's just a novel about Mace Windu. It's a cool word. Like, but I guess I thought Shatterpoint. I never read the book. I thought it was like a force technique where he could like,
It's that too.
touch a thing and like make it crack with the molecular structure.
Yeah, and there's moments in history where there's a vulnerable, it's both.
All right. Well, Windu's Windu sculpt very cool. And he comes with pawns.
Fan favorite character that everyone loves.
What?
Arf.
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 But they don't have ARF helmets.
Those are not ARF. Oh, you're correct.
Oh.
Yeah, they are not only the same sculpts but the same paint jobs.
Oh,
it does look like perhaps the ARF troopers. We'll get to Plo Koon in a second, but the Wolfpack clones with Plo Koon are identical miniatures and paint jobs to these ones pictured with Windu.
That must be why they separated them with
So
a
you wouldn't
different
notice.
squad. Yes.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be quite as evident. So in case anyone wasn't keeping track, we looked at Mace Windu with ARF troopers.
ARF.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like Advanced Recon Force or something like that. They're kind of like scout troopers with more jowls. The guys who ride ATRTs.
So Space Wolves. Next up is ya boy Cad Bane and Aura Singh
and two generic people and Todo
two
360.
nobodies.
But the nobodies, one of them is very cool. The sculpt for Cad Bane is so good. It's so good.
Aura Singh looks really good. I don't like
and Todo,
a lot of the Shatterpoint minis,
here.
And Todo. Although Todo seems to be sharing a base with the generic Chadra fan.
Yeah,
who
well,
has like
he's tiny. He's a
gym
little
bag. He's like,
guy,
I gotta get my sweaty gym clothes out of here.
Her sniper rifle. Oh.
Yeah, the one that she's rocking in the mini reminds me of a very specific moment from an episode of Clone Wars where she just rapid fires at Plo Koon. That's probably what they're trying to evoke. She just goes to town with those pistols a lot, but I agree that the like the one-handed, arm out shot is a little cooler. The generic bounty hunter Deveronian included in this pack, also very cool.
It's a great pose. Great sculpt. This is Oh.
Yeah, I'm
ding dong, motherfucker, ding dong. Like that.
I'm very
Boondock Saints too.
I did my
No, you heard wrong. You heard wrong. You will watch it.
I did my best to like keep my reactions to myself when this came on screen because I was like, well, I'm recording a video and the camera's right in front of me. I don't want to annoy the people watching this.
Good on you. I didn't have such constraints. So now we get on to the Dave Filoni special. That is
really.
Plo Koon and the Wolf Pack for life.
Also known as Plo's Bros.
Plo's Bros.
Yeah, Plo's Bros and Teen Ahsoka.
Yeah, this is where you can get this mini with the Hobby Next thing, but this is where she'll be in the Plo Koon pack. So this is a 5 mini pack. I wonder if it'll be priced more. And then Commander Wolf doing another flight standless acrobatic maneuver over some rubble.
Have you ever jumped through the air whilst shooting 2 guns?
So do we think the rubble is touching his butt?
His
It doesn't
butt.
look like it's touching his foot.
It's
Yes.
probably. I mean, yeah,
Swooping. Yeah, okay.
his
Yeah.
skirt.
As
Um,
yeah, they are.
Yeah. Because it would make sense for Wolfpack to be with Plo Koon and not with Mace, so he probably just
Yeah.
has different ones.
the next one, so before they introduced the next one, Simone, who had been pretty silent the whole time, said she wanted to
Oh.
introduce this one. So I thought it was going to be Hondo because Simone's favorite Star Wars character is Hondo, but it wasn't. Dead Padme and her handmaidens, which I think is very cool. This is another one that I think is a super cool addition. Might not be one I end up buying anytime soon, but
This is gonna be
very
tops for me.
unexpected.
I wanna
Yes,
take exactly 1 minute to say I had just been thinking about episode 1 units that could be in Legion. You got Gungans, you got the Palace Guard, you got the assassins in dresses in the Handmaidens because they're all Terras Kasai. And then we got them in Shatterpoint, and I was like, okay, y'all know what you're doing. You got the kick-ass ladies in Shatterpoint. This is this is gold. This is good stuff. Y'all know what you're doing.
Abe?
Sabe,
Sabe, who Will Schick pronounce
not
as Sabi, I think,
baby.
which very funny. Literally, all of their names were just created to rhyme with Padme. Sabe, but
I
yeah,
like both the
Yes.
generic handmaidens. They're both very good poses. They're very well
Yeah.
painted too. Those red to yellow gradients are probably going to be
that's gonna
tough,
be
but they
killer.
look good in the
It's gonna be
promo.
so good. It's gonna be so good to paint.
Who knows
I'm
what
looking.
is
It's so
Yeah.
good. So good. I'm
who knows
excited for
what's
this.
going on behind them, but there's some Naboo scenery. Maybe that means there'll be like Naboo scenery pack coming out down the line.
You know
Maybe.
what?
I could see it.
If they give me Captain, was it Captain Typho and some Royal Guard?
Typho is 2 and 3. Panaka is
Tanaka.
1.
Okay,
Yeah, I could see it.
that's
That'd be
fine.
cool.
Give me that. That's fine.
I want
It's
some
cool. It's cool.
Gungans.
I'm excited for this. This is so good. This is when I said, okay, they know what they're doing. And then, okay, so they said that's it. Everything else that we want to tell you about, you got to come back on May the 4th, which not the real Star Wars Day. Hate to tell you that. It's May 25th, not May the 4th. But everybody else celebrates May the 4th. So head back to atomicmassgames.com on the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th to see something else. Apparently.
But then they said, actually, we are going to show you stuff that we weren't supposed to show you anyway. So they kept going.
Yeah, I couldn't
Supposed to,
tell
sure.
how.
Yes.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, we hacked your laptop, PR marketing person, and added
It
these
was
slides." So, like,
cute.
did you? Yeah,
It was cute.
okay.
It was cute. Okay.
Oh, you.
The future. the future. And you know what? He had already said this to us. If you've seen our video of the Shatterpoint demo, he said, well, you could have Darth Vader and stormtroopers. And it's like, really? I could have Darth Vader and stormtroopers? Really? And yeah, because that's what they just confirmed, is that some wave relatively soon.
Someday.
Which I can't remember who wrote that in like the first issue of Vader Down, but hey, he secured himself in Star Trek.
That quote,
Star
but you're right. That
Wars
quote gets
parlance.
used a lot
Star
now
War, yes,
on
Star
Star Wars
Wars
components.
parlance for Eternity, Fear and Dead Men. You know what? I haven't gotten to watch Picard from last week yet. That's my problem. I watched Mando with Joe, and I didn't watch Picard.
They started with a nice kind of teaser image, just the silhouettes of Vader and Luke, but then they showed the actual pictures of the squads, which look really good.
I thought
I can't decide how I feel about the cape.
Looks good to me.
I want to put him on a flight
good.
stand, so it looks like he's kind of like
Billowy.
Mary Poppinsing.
Yeah, I thought that silhouette of Vader and Luke was gonna be like a rivals
dual pack. Yeah.
like they have for MCP. But yeah, no, it's just a Vader with 3 stormtroopers pack.
So there's like 2 generics and 1 captain or whatever, squad leader.
Yeah, the stormtroopers look very
should be
nice.
a sergeant. If anyone
Sergeant?
tells you a captain leads a squad, you punch them in the face and tell them they're wrong. And then you got what? Captains don't lead squads, Leo. They just don't. They lead
heard of Captain
companies.
Rex?
Yeah, he leads a company, not squads.
The squad's in the company. Checkmate.
Yes. There are squads. You know who leads squads? Sergeants. Sergeants lead squads, and lieutenants lead platoons, and then captains lead companies.
So the next thing besides Vader and the stormtroopers they showed was the hero characters, which all very interesting choices for a first take on these characters in Shatterpoint.
Yes, very interesting, very cool. I'm so glad they went this direction.
Return of the Jedi Luke, not too Return of the Jedi looking Jabba's Palace Luke. So he's got his little tabard, which a lot of people don't think of when they picture Return of the Jedi Luke, but he's got it at Jabba's Palace. Leia in the Bouche disguise, which is interesting first
Very cool.
pick. And then Lando skiff guard, and then R2 with the drinks, like the drink tray, which is also interesting.
Fun.
I don't think even Wizards of the Coast made a mini of that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They made a lot of weird, very specific minis, and I don't think they ever did that one.
My first thought was, "Oh, Shadows of the Empire versions of these characters," but no, you're right.
Wow.
It's totally Return
Where's
of the
flat top
Jedi.
Chewie?
Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the Leia bounty hunter disguise.
Painted very well
very
too.
good.
The leather.
She's gonna have different head swaps too, I hope.
Hopefully it's not too long until they give us, like Endor Leia or Hoth Leia. Hoth Leia is my favorite Leia look, but it's cool to start with the bounty hunter.
Yeah, I mean, we had Hoth Leia in Imperial Assault, we had Endor Leia in Legion, and we have yet to get New Hope Leia in miniature. But I mean, just give us all of them. That's all you need to do. Just give us all of them.
But it looks like a very cool pack. It'll be interesting to see. It seems like it kind of breaks the mold of hero, other guy, and then 2 generics, because these are all like 4 hero people. So
yeah, because the squads makeup are like a primary, a secondary, and a support.
Yes.
But and then we got more Ewoks.
More Ewoks.
Yep. Yep.
Lots
The
of
poses on the
logs.
logs are pretty cute. The ones in the back, the multi-unit ones,
Well,
like the guy in the middle with the bow and arrow, he looks like he's falling over.
And these guys
think
do
these
kind
sculpts-
of. Go
I
ahead.
think they
go
look
ahead, go
better
ahead.
than the Legion sculpts. They look really good for
Well,
minis.
yeah, they're much bigger.
More details and cooler poses, and
Yeah.
Look at you. Wicked is strutting. He's just like, oh, I you know what, that the way I want him not jumping off a log, just strolling through the forest like it's his episode of a like.
It's like he's dribbling a basketball.
Oh.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, and we also got low gray again. It looks like the two multi mini ones in the back, like the one on the left they're all holding melee weapons, and the one on the right they all have bows.
Yeah.
True.
But it does kind of offset someone who asked us how to tell the commander or operatives apart from the individual Ewoks for Legion, and I said, well, look for the tactical log that they're standing on. And now in this one, everyone has a log. It's not special anymore. Everyone's got a log.
Next up, another surprise. The Inquisitors from Kenobi, which they said was like some like top extra secret product that most of the team didn't even know they were doing.
Apparently.
I guess probably just because it's a newer thing. There's not much merchandise up for these people. Yeah, that would. Yeah, so we've got Grand Inquisitor, Riva, Fifth Brother, and I don't just
Fourth?
the
Sister.
the sister who's just there and has half a line. The one
That
who's
one
like,
sister,
she's the
that's
best
her
one
name.
because she does nothing, which is very funny and cool that she gets a figure because she's just there. Right. She's
good
even got a
pose.
cooler pose. Fifth Brother's such a dork ass loser.
Well, that probably means he's the support character in this pack because they said that, if I'm not too mistaken, in this pack you have a named character who is support.
I think, yeah, you're right. So we can assume probably Grand Inquisitor is the primary, Riva secondary, and then the other guys function as supports, even though they're not generic. Although, as we learned in our demo, technically every unit in Shatterpoint is unique. Even if you just have a card that says 501st Clone Trooper, you couldn't have a second unit in your
squad
strike force.
Yes.
That is of the same name. The sculpts for these are pretty cool. I like the poses. For some reason, Grand Inquisitor mimicking the live action look doesn't offend me as much.
Well,
pretty
and
good,
it's
I think.
because like what I said to you,
It's
Yeah,
still pretty round.
they struck I mentioned this to Joe as we were reviewing it. They struck a nice middle ground between the exaggerated animated version of the Grand Inquisitor and the what can we do with makeup Grand Inquisitor. So it's kind of an in between, and it works really well in my opinion.
It looks good. The interesting thing is that Fifth Brother is clearly just very much trying to mimic the live action version.
Versus if we go back a few slides and look at the
in
Rebels
Legion
version.
Yeah, in Legion it's very much just going all in on the Rebels look, which I think the Rebels look is a little more interesting because it's just more alien. but
Yes. It is much more exaggerated if you flip back a few slides and look at the Legion one.
And then the rest of the stuff we see are things definitely far out because we've got a render of Aiden with her seeker droid on her shoulder.
And I'm
which
so
is-
glad that like the choices that I made for head and weapon loadout on my Legion model match this one. I can feel justified in using super glue to put her arms in place finally.
The sculpt looks pretty good though. A lot of detail, really matches the game well.
I think they said we
yeah.
can expect all of her Inferno Squad friends to be with her too, Dell and
That would make sense.
Absolutely. And then the next no-brainer, as I tweeted, is Han Solo. And they said this was the best likeness
No,
of Han Solo.
they said that the people at Lucasfilm said that this was the best likeness of Han they'd seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It looks very good.
It's real good. I thought the IA one was actually pretty decent, but this one so far looks real good.
I can't quite tell what he's standing on.
That's what I was gonna ask.
It's
his tactical
droid.
scenery is I'm not sure what he's standing on.
Rubble, like
It's
salvage.
Greedo's head. That's not true.
Um,
And would you say he's a New Hope Han or Return of the Jedi Han? I know he doesn't have the camo cloak, but
This
probably
is 100% New Hope, in my opinion.
I mean, he has like his A New Hope outfit in Return of the Jedi, right? So I guess
just with
under
brown pants.
under his coat.
Yeah, we got to wait until we see how they do the official artwork.
And it'll be interesting to see what he's paired with. Could be Endor Commandos would be my first thought, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be some smugglers or something.
I hope so.
Lando?
We do not have enough
Chewie would make
scummy
sense.
Han in games. Yes. And apparently, this was the first Shatterpoint model that they made, sculpted as proof of concept of what they could do with this game. And honestly, it's real good.
It looks good. I will I mean, now that I'm like processed that this is a very good looking miniature, I am now realizing that he's just they're going for a Sunday walk. They're not in combat. They're not
That's fine.
It's not an action pose.
It's surprising that he's
like
not
a
taking
promo
off in
pose.
his jetpack, shooting the whistling birds in every direction. But it looks good for what it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so nice because like even compared to the Legion Din that we've all kind of said like it's
I
fine.
like the Legion one better.
Okay.
Well,
I look at I look at this pose and I say it's got a lot more personality.
I like the Grogu in the floating baby carriage. That's a really good detail.
Yeah.
And touching a tactical cloak that's sticking out works good for that.
This mini would look much better on a shelf for sure. It's just once I put it on the table, I'm immediately like sort of going, okay, he's just gonna stroll over here. Whereas the Legion one, he's just pulling a little quick draw.
Like he could have his pistol out or something. Maybe there'll be an
and that's
option.
The thing with these larger non-army MCP / Shatterpoint models that they are much more like statues that you could easily put on your shelf. What?
Well, they don't. I said I like the
I
Ahsoka
thought
one.
about me.
The Ahsoka pose where she's literally just like standing there. I like that a lot. I don't know. I just like this looks really good. I just for some reason I feel like maybe He should be
He's
okay.
got
I'll
his
accept
baby
that.
boy. He needs to protect his baby boy. That's
And
right.
I wonder who will come with allies in this pack. Would it be like Grief or IG-11? We don't know.
We don't know.
It's fun to
I mean,
speculate.
I think everybody would probably be fine if they sold individual minis that were like $20 instead of 50.
Yeah. Are they going to do the 4-person squad
Yep.
every box, or are they going to run out of interesting characters?
I
Who
mean,
knows?
they could release a squad of generic Republic slash Rebel slash New Republic troopers just to throw in with him, and like obviously he's gonna be I keep saying Rebel. I mean to say New Republic slash Rebel slash
Yeah, I'd be
Independent.
curious
Or
if
bounty hunters? I don't know.
Well, wait.
like there's no
Wait.
factions, there's time periods.
Yeah. It's era. You're right. So it's era dependent. So
Right.
Maybe he'll
I'm
come with
curious
Migs
if they'll put him in
Mayfield.
the Civil War era or if they will make a sequel era.
I mean,
Because I think we can expect, sequel stuff to show up in this game sooner rather than later, generally speaking.
yes,
I think we'll see
100%,
sequel stuff in this game before we ever see it in Legion.
100% agree. We will see Rey versus Kylo in Shatterpoint long before Legion. Place your bets now. The only thing you do not have to place your bets on, apparently, is where you're gonna see the rest of the Spectre squad, the Ghost squad, the Rebels squad. Apparently, they're all gonna be coming out for Shatterpoint because that was the ultimate, the final unveiling at this show.
And
A second surprise after the first.
he's like, we gotta.
He was probably laughing his ass off.
Somebody left that comment already on this video. They're like, so what did they say? Uh, yeah, but I immediately realized I never said I'd have to buy them all at once. So
That's
You
fair.
could buy
these
them and then
they're
sell them off.
Yeah. All right.
yeah, I'll sell them the patron giveaways or something.
So
Uh,
yes, the Rebels family, the Rebel squad is confirmed 100% for Shatterpoint. We got Chopper with blasting off with a little connected exhaust flame, not a clear plastic
I like that one.
flight stand.
It works
We
better.
got
He's got a big flame.
Zeb with his big ass gun slash bow staff. We got Hera looking like a boss. We got Kanan pre eye gouge
Yeah, these are all
slash
season 1 looks.
season 1 look. We got Aladdin Ezra. You know what? Aladdin Ezra hashtag for life. That's great. And we got Explosion Sabine jumping off of everything left and right, much more dynamic than anybody else, but hey, she's a Mandalorian. So
And these
yeah,
sculpts are mostly really good. I personally really
mostly
like this Zeb. I'm gonna say mostly personally, but I think the Zeb
okay.
looks really good. I really like the Ezra. Chopper looks good. It seems like they're gonna be one big pack that has all 6 people, and I don't know how that fits into the Shatterpoint
I mean,
rules, whatever the
it fits
roles,
in
but
just like Spectre Squad and Imperial Assault fit in, right?
I'm just excited to figure out how to paint the explosion underneath Sabine because, like, probably paint it with like purple and pink and orange and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
good point. You should mod it so it's like a puffer pig that she's jumping off of.
Oh, suicide puffer pig.
no, he's just rolling by and she's using him as a
Oh,
springboard.
that's fair. All right.
Replace every tactical rock log whatever with like puffer pig.
That
Like
actually
that's just the
sounds
through line
really
story of
good.
all of your minis is like, yeah, and it's just like in your personal story that it does one puffer pig who's just has the unfortunate situation of rolling through every major conflict.
Conveniently giving everyone the boost. That's how they're jumping so high. He's like
Yeah.
boosting them like a
Oh,
trampoline.
I
Star
mean,
Wars puffer pig.
it doesn't
Uh,
not make
New
sense.
name of the game.
yeah, this was very unexpected. And I was also besides me just being super excited about this, I was surprised at everyone else's reaction, which seemed to maybe this got the biggest reaction out of um all of the Shatterpoint reveals,
I'd say so,
uh,
yes.
which is always exciting because you never know how many of the random people in the crowd watch the cartoons.
Yeah. Well, considering how lukewarm the Clone Force 99 was.
Well,
Yeah.
if they'd announced a Legends pack with Thrawn and Mara Jade and some Salamiri, then people would have gone crazy.
You just need yeah, Thrawn, Mara Jade, and who all was
Chip
in those
Duran or whatever.
the CCG card trilogy of who was that? Kevin J. Anderson and
Okay, but seriously, if you did Kyle Katarn and Jan Ors, and some
oh.
other Jedi Knight characters, now that would be tempting.
Yeah, if they did all the bad guys from Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight.
Just gotta do what
Mm.
Hasbro's doing with the Gaming Greats line and like
Mm.
video game specific. So I want Cal and BD and with Marin and Seer and 100%. I think
Force Unleashed.
yeah. Uh,
Don't
uh,
tease me.
I
Yoda
mean,
stories.
can you imagine a Revan mini for this game? It would be pretty slick.
Wow,
How
yeah.
dare you
Yeah, just
say
add it in as
that
another
without
era.
it being real?
Someday.
Okay, you know what, smart guy? Until they overwrite it, Revan is real. Hashtag
He is
Revan
real.
is real.
Revan is canon.
Israel. Revan is
Revan
real.
is real.
All right. So we have finally. Whew, that's a long recording. You know what, Leo? I don't envy you this one.
He's got
Um,
like 10 seconds to edit out.
oh, you're not gonna go through it and make sure every single minute is perfect.
Do you want this released tomorrow or
I
3 weeks from
would
now?
I would like it to
3
be
years
as
from now.
perfect as possible. That's what I would like. You can call me the Stanley Kubrick of podcasts. Um, but we've hit the end of the. I said Kubrick, not J.J. Abrams. Damn it! I'll make you do it 127 times, but I'm not gonna add no lens flare. We've hit the end of the Atomic Mass Games Studio update. Huge thanks to where we go? We got to go with Will Schick. He was so gracious with his time, both scheduled and unscheduled. Dallas Kemp, huge thanks to him. He was so willing to give us just whatever time he had as well. And oh, help me out, Anne at AMG for being patient with us, actually getting back to us quicker than we anticipated. So we're not used to that. Thank you again for that. Who else we have to thank, Joe? Help me out here.
Um, George Lucas.
Well, that goes without saying. Who? Except for the one guy.
Is that freed
Except for
him
the
up
one
to
guy.
play Imperial Assault the next
I
day.
mean, it
Correct.
did. I give a shout out to Courtney, aka Corn Dog. Always fun talking to her.
Oh, absolutely. But everyone who made this past week and weekend as fantastic as it was, the con itself was terrific, but we especially had a great time getting to talk with everyone from AMG. We had multiple opportunities. Obviously, Simone, we've been in contact with for a good long while, so thank you to her as well, and everyone else from that office that came out east to talk with us. And yeah, we are just really thankful we got to be a part of that as much as we were. And we really look forward to more conversations with them. We are hopefully going to be talking with, at the very least, Will Schick. But I did say that we'd be happy to talk with anybody else involved on the Star Wars teams. I don't know that there's anything else that needs to really be said aside from thank you, Leo, thank you, Joe, thank you, Kurt, thank you, everyone else for following us. If there's new folks who are just now following us after this past weekend, if you saw our demo videos, if you saw our Twitter feeds, because I know both of those made the rounds over the weekend, and I was happy to see lots of other people sharing our stuff. Welcome to the Jodo cast, and I hope you join our Discord as several other folks have since the weekend. Anybody else have anything else to say, whether it's to AMG or new folks, or just to me to tell me to shut up and hit stop? No, nothing from Joe.
I guess sometimes both suns shine on I forget the aphorism. Something
Womp
about a
rat's tail.
Womp rat's tail?
rat's
Okay.
tail.
Womp rat's
That was
tail.
something weirder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
I guess
Yeah, every once
sometimes
in a
both
while.
signs shut on a womp rat's tail.
Yep.
That should
That's
be a card.
exactly how it was delivered.
Oh, I got to play a game designed by Joe this past week, and it was cool as hell, baby.